Hello everyone, we are Team Arjuna. We all are here to present our communication skills project on topic well-educated mind versus well-formed mind. This is Nikita, negotiator of the team.
I am Aman Kumar Sahu.
I am Manish Kumar.
I am Palakshi Agrawal.
I am Vijay.
I am Abhiram.
We are all from IT department, National Institute of Technology, Raipur. Before starting, first we would like to express our team name Arjuna.
Arjuna, a key figure in Hindu mythology and the Mahabharata, offers valuable lesson related to education which as a student we can apply in our student life.
Focus and concentration. Arjuna's archery skills demonstrate the importance of focus and concentration in learning.
Mentorship. Arjuna's relationship with Krishna, his guru, highlights the significance of guidance and mentorship in education.
Self-discipline. Arjuna's rigorous training and self-discipline inspire students to develop similar qualities for academic success.
Critical thinking. Arjuna's dilemma and decision in Mahabharata encourages critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and moral awareness.
Perseverance. Arjuna's determination and resilience in the face of challenges serve as a model for overcoming obstacles in learning.
Reflection and introspection. Arjuna's introspection and self-reflection, as seen in Bhagavad Gita, promote deeper understanding and personal growth. Arjuna's story illustrates that education extends beyond academics. It encompasses character development, values, and lifelong learning.
I'm here to talk you about the Indian education, higher education in particular. But I am actually going to start with the demography of the India. We have one of the most populous country in the world with population of exceeding 1.4 billion. Approximately 34% of the population lives in urban area while the majority about 66% resides in rural areas. India has home to numerous ethnic groups and over 1600 spoken language. The major language families include Indo-Aryan and Dravidian with Hindi belong the most widely spoken language. India is religiously diverse with major religions including Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Jainism. While health indicators are improving, challenges like malnutrition, maternal and infant mortality rates, and access to healthcare remain a critical issue. Let me ask you one question. Now, how many of you here are under 35? Okay, that seems pretty representative of the country. 65% of the India is under 35. How many of you are under 25? Okay, then you are not so representative because we half of the Indian population pretty much under 25. We are an amazingly young country. In fact, if you just take the age group of from 10 to 90, there are 226 million Indians poised, in other words, to enter higher education, going through school, and ready for the education. Now, this amazing because it's happening at the time when the rest of the world is aging, right? If you look at the average age in India today, it's 28. Of course, don't ask about the gap since we heard about the gap between the average age of the Indian person and the Indian cabinet. I think we hold a world record for that. But that's another TED talk, right? But what we have got with the average ages at our time when the rest of the world is changing. So by 2022, the average age in Japan is going to be 47. In China, it's going to be heading well past 40. Europe 46. The United States, youthful US also 40. And India's average age is going to be 29. So we are the potentially the people who are the youthful, productive, dynamic, young population ready to work and transform the world. The kinds of role that say China played in the last generation could be ours in the next. In fact, International Labour Organization has worked out by 2022 will have 160 million people in the age group of starting work 20 to 24 is what they calculate. and China will only have 94 million. Okay, this is the issue. At the time, we really are poised to do that, but by the way, other countries will have a serious deficit. That's estimated that the US will have 17 million short terms of how many people they need of working age. We in India have the people, but do we have the ability to equip the people to take advantage of this to be workforce of the work engine for the world? See, if we get it right, we educate and train them, we really transform not just our own economy and our society, but the world. If we get it wrong, the demographic dividend that I am talking about becomes a demographic disaster because we have already seen in 165 of our 625 districts what happens when unemployed, frustrated, uneducated young men become prey to the blandishments of the Maoists and prey to the gun and bullet. Education in our country is not just a social or economic issue, it's even a national security issue.
We have got to equip our people to take advantage of what is the 21st century offers them now. This is a story in a nutshell of 4 E's: expansion, equity, excellence, and employability. With our first priority being education. Why is education so critical? Because when the British left India in 1947, the literacy rate was only about 16%. And I would not even need to ask if any of you are here of how dire the situation was. At that time, we had a mere 4 lakh students enrolled in higher education across the entire country. We had only 26 universities and the fewer than 700 colleges, a far cry from what was needed to build a nation. Clearly, expansion was essential to meet the growing demand for education and development. Fast forward to today, and the transformation is nothing short of remarkable. From a 16% literacy rate, we have grown to an impressive 74%, and the higher education sector has seen exponential growth as well. We have gone from 26 universities to over 1,000 and from just 400,000 students in higher education. We now boast 20 million students and the number of the college has skyrocketed with over 35,000 institutions across the country compared to fewer than 700 back in 1947. This remarkable expansion has not only increased access to education but has also laid the foundation for a stronger, more competitive nation in the global economy. The journey, however, is far from over, and as we continue to expand, we must also focus on improving the quality and the inclusivity of education to ensure that every citizen can contribute meaningfully to the nation's future. The second E for equity, which focused on including those who have been historically excluded from education. The means reaching out of the underprivileged, the underserved, and those who, for various reasons, were denied access to quality education. We are talking about people who did not get a fair share in education due to factors like gender, religion, caste, economic background, and the geographic location. At the time of independence, when the overall literacy rate was just 16%, and the female literacy rate was shockingly low at only 8.9%. Just think about that for a moment. Only about 1 in 11 Indian women could read and write. The disparity was not just due to the poverty, but also the antecedent social norms and the religious restriction that systemically left women and the marginalized communities of the education system. Addressing these deep-seated inequities become a monumental challenge, but also an urgent priority. We needed to ensure that those left behind could finally gain access to education, and that means deliberate the sustained efforts to include everyone, expanding access to schools, introducing policies for affirmative actions, providing scholarship, and setting up special programs for girls and disadvantaged groups. We were just some of the steps taken to level up the playing field. It was not an easy task, and while we have made significant progress, the journey continues. Today, female literacy literacy rate has improved, but there is still a long way to go in achieving true equity, in getting those two things, expansion and equity, more or less right. We have laid the groundwork for a more inclusive education system that remains a key area of focus moving forward. As we must not only expand access to improve equity, but also the ensure the education we provide is of the highest possible quality and value. The third E is the E of excellence. Obviously, you need quality, and we set about setting up institutions of great quality in our country. The IITs are a good example. In fact, it's a part of Jawaharlal Nehru's vision that IITs in Kharagpur was stabilized in 1956 and it done on the site of a British detention. A British detention, a detention, Hizili detention center. So a symbol of political expression become instead a symbol of hope, a technology of looking to the future. But for the IITs, the IIMs, a few good institutions. I'm sure you could all pick your few around the country. There have tended to be an island of excellence floating on the sea of mediocrity. Every Indian higher education institution is simply not of the quality that you have and I, all of us in this audience, would like to see.
Now, I'm adding the fourth E to this catechism, employability. Talk to employers, talk to CEOs, what would they tell you? That they're simply not satisfied with the graduates they're getting. Even in the T of TED, the technological area, engineering graduates, 500,000 engineering graduates a year. But if you talk to Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, they did a survey and 64% of employers are not satisfied with the quality of graduates they are getting. Some of companies are running essentially re-education places, Infosys, the gigantic campus of Mysore, and it's not on-the-job training which big companies tend to do. It is, in fact, really a full year's education for the people they have already hired to make up for the deficiencies of what they have learned or not properly learned in college. Now that's the scale of challenge that we face. What are we doing about it? A great deal needs to be done. Of course, we are trying to put in kids into the system at an early age. The RTE, the Right to Education Act. If kids were out of school in olden days, then it's their parents' fault. Today, if kids were out of school, then it's the state's fault. The government is committed to actually getting them an education. We've got more and more money being pumped in by the system at all levels. For example, many of you may have gone to prestigious universities. Lots of people in India don't. They go to state universities, which are grossly underfinanced. We've come up with a scheme to pump central money into the state universities so they actually have the resources to do something with the students they have there. Money isn't the whole answer. There is an entire challenge in terms of addressing things like the gender gap. That's a gap. But despite what an earlier speaker said, we don't want to embrace, right? That it's a gap we must overcome. Right now, women's literacy is 66%, better than the 8.9, but it still means that, you know, one out of every three Indian women still can't read and write. We have to overcome that, and we need to catch the ones who have been left out of the net. Adult literacy is a huge challenge. Acquiring literacy is not a one off act. Beyond its conventional concept as a set of reading, writing, and counting skills, literacy is now understood as a means of identification, understanding, interpretation, creation, and communication in an increasingly digital text mediated, information rich, and the fast changing world. Literacy is a continuum of learning and proficiency in reading, writing, and using numbers throughout life and is part of a larger set of skills which include digital skills, media literacy, education for sustainable development, and global citizenship, as well as job specific skills. Literacy skills themselves are expanding and evolving as people engage more and more with information and learning through digital technology. Literacy empowers and liberates people. Beyond its importance as part of the right to education, literacy improves lives by expanding capabilities, which in turn reduces poverty, increases participation in the labor market, and has positive effects on health and sustainable development. Women empowered by literacy have a positive ripple effect on all aspects of development. They have greater life choices for themselves and an immediate impact on the health and education of their families, and in particular, the education of girl children. In many cultures, women in their 50s are expected to focus on family or caregiving rather than personal pursuits like learning. However, it's not just older women. Even young girls are denied education. Many family members believe educating a girl is useless, thinking she's born to work and caregiving for men. Do you agree?
Maybe some of you may know that. Wait, I'm going to explain it. The main thing is lack of encouragement. Not having a supportive partner, family, or a community can make the pursuit of education feel lonely. Without encouragement or understanding from the loved one, it may be hard to stay motivated. Women in her 50s who embark on a journey of learning and personal development may face socialistic challenges as some of the communities or cultures hold rigid about gender, age, and roles. Gender expectations. In many in many cultures, women in their 50s are expected to focus on family or giving care to the children rather than pursuing some things like learning. Wait, it's not only the older women. Even a girl child is denied to education nowadays. Despite these obstacles, many women in their 50s break their social barriers. Now, now coming to the next page. Yes, we are trying to do that, of course. For those who have dropped out on earlier, in the days before we got to the 74%, and the younger kids, yes, we got them into the school now. We have something called a gross enrollment ratio. The percentage of children of certain age, of a or of a approximate age, a particular level of education. Well, the primary schools now our gross enrollment ratio is 16%. We actually enroll more kids than we thought existing at that age because some of the older ones are coming into it. Bad news is as you go up the leveling, it starts dropping. So by the eighth grade, it's about 69%, and by the 10th grade, it's 39%, and in college, our gross enrollment ratio is about 18%. Against the global average is around 29%. There are numerous reasons why students drop out of the school and colleges, and these factors vary significantly depending on individual circumstances, socioeconomic conditions, and institutional environment. Here some of the common reasons. I will explain about the reasons why the students drop out of the college or a school. Financial constraints. One of the primary reasons why students drop out of the college or school is the financial difficulty. Higher education can be expensive, and students from low income background may struggle to cover tuition fees, accommodation, or for the maybe for buying books. For many, the pressure is to work and support the family outweighs the ability to continue reading. Academic challenges. Academic challenges. Students often drop out because they struggle academically. For some, the place and demands of our school or college become overwhelming, especially if they lack adequate support, tutoring, or resources to help them succeed. Even then, maybe the mental health can also cause problem to the students, including anxiety, depression, stress, and burnout. Not only this, there are many reasons, but these are the common mistakes where people or the students face. The pressure is performing academically coupled with personal and socialistic challenges can negatively impact a students' well-being without adequate mental health support. Students may find it difficult to continue with their studies and overwhelmed by the circumstances. So, we still need to do more. Our expansion has not gone enough. We haven't managed to get everyone into the system. Some of them may need vocational training. They are all not going to become a caller, clerks, or officials or IAS officers, right? So we need to try them. We need to try and catch them and get them into vocational training. Wait, let me explain you about the vocational training. What is vocational training? Vocational training refers to the education and training that equips individual with the practical skills and knowledge needed for specific trade of occupation. Now, I am going to explain an example. One day, I visited a village in Tamil Nadu, which is not far from Kanjipuram. Then there I met women who is in their 50s and 60s. They started learning to read and write. Some of the things, what the point? The answer is it changes their life. It empowers them in a real way. Then I met a woman named Chitramani who proudly wrote her name in a piece of paper in Tamil. After I asked her, what does being able to read and write mean to you? Then she replied that now she can able to read the destination boards on buses where it's going, so that she did not need anyone to ask about where it's going. So she can know where she is going now. Then she replied that even in the big cities of Kanchipuram, she can able to read the signboards so that she did not find helpless anymore. See that kind of empowerment, what literacy gives to a person in a very fundamental and real way. Yes, that kind of empowerment is needed. But do you know there are many problems faced by them?
That the government alone can't do. You know, if you look at the need for research and innovation, you have heard a lot of that, I'm sure, in the course of the TED Talks. Research is something which the government wants to double the amount of money spending on research from 1% GDP to 2%. We haven't had the money to pump into it yet, but innovation requires new ways of thinking. You might have heard about hyperthinking. Engaging in this digital age, developing a creative mind, or decisively thinking are all qualities which help in developing a better understanding of different perspectives and thus making up the mindset of hyperthinking. New ways of thinking means learning to think out of the box, to encourage original thinking, problem solving, and learning to create. I know we are famous for jugaad, or in another words, innovative fix, right? If you Google the word frugal innovation, you get to know that in a world where innovation is often associated with expensive technology and resources, frugal innovation offers a refreshing perspective. It is about finding ingenious ways to do more with less, and it has the potential to address some of the most pressing challenges of our time. The top 20 hits will all relate to Indian inventions, like the invention of the world's cheapest electrocardiogram, the simplest and the cheapest EKG, the cheapest insulin injection, the world's cheapest small car, the Tata Nano, all that stuff, but all these have been things invented elsewhere that we have stripped down, made more affordable, more replicable, more relevant to the conditions. We need to do things that others haven't done before, which we used to do in our culture where Nalanda invented the zero. Remember how the Romans used to write their numerals in long strings of letters till an Indian thought of the idea of zero emerging from the notion of shunyata in Hindu and Buddhist thinking, and that came into the zero, shunya, which transformed global mathematics. We, as Indians, achieved an extraordinary milestone by successfully landing the Chandrayaan 3 mission on the moon's southern pole. This accomplishment not only signifies a monumental achievement for India's space endeavors, but also sets a new benchmark for cost-effective innovation in field of international space exploration. This, in fact, is a testament to India's innovative strategies and domestic experience. We need to think like that again. We need to come up with the ideas with 70% of the world's brain. Why do we only have 2.8% of the world's research output coming out of our country? Well, perhaps we need to start in the classroom. Get our kids not just to have their hands filled full of facts, textbook materials, and teacher lectures, because frankly, that gives you a well filled mind. But in the era of internet, you don't need a well filled mind. You have got Google, right? You find everything with just 2 clicks of the mouse. What you need is a well formed mind, a mind that reacts to unfamiliar facts and details, that actually synthesize information that hasn't studied before. A mind, in other words, that can react to the bigger examination, which doesn't actually only give the things you are prepared for, called life.
And for that, you need a mind that's shaped by original thinking. A mind that doesn't just ask the teacher why, but why not? A mind that can able to think independently. A mind that is capable of thinking out of the box. So, if we talk about thinking out of the box, let me give an example. There was a person who wear glasses. He don't need them to read or to see the things near to him, but if we want to catch something far away from him, then he had to look to the glasses. But because he hardly ever wear them, he keep losing or breaking them. He shove them in a pocket, bang them against the wall or something, they crack. He put them on the lap, when he get up, they fall down, somebody steps on them, they break. In the first 3 months of the year, he lost or broke 6 pairs of glasses. So he was telling a friend about this, and the friend said, a simple solution. Why can't you think of one? The person said, look, there is no easy solution because for 150 years, glasses have been made in one way, right? They join together at the center, they hang them over years, and that's what I found and inconvenient. So I take them. And the friend said, like, no, 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 no. You will not, you will find a different way. You can reimagine glasses in a way that they're not going to hang over your ears or else join at the middle. And the friend thought in a way that both the lenses can be in the middle, can be combined in the middle by two magnets so that whenever the person don't need them, he can simply detach the magnets so that the two lenses will be hanging around his collar. And if the person want to see anything back, he just pull them together, the two magnets in the middle that that stick together, and he can he can see the things which are far away from him now. Now, it's just a silly example. Perhaps it's an example of how one can think of the box, out of the box. To develop this kind of thinking, children should be grown up in such a way that they see the things in a new way. Things, familiar objects can be thought in ways they haven't been thought of before. And that way, we can move forward in the world. So, I feel education makes people empower. That is a powerful weapon for any country in the world. We should ensure that people of our country are subjected to at least basic education. I have no doubt that the challenges are enormous, but there is simply no question that here in our country we have to become literate. But there is one piece of good news. 95% of our 12-year-old across India can read and write. And India has been steadily increasing its patent fillings over the years. So let me give a report. In 2022, the country saw a remarkable 31.6% growth in patent applications, making it the only country among the top 10 fillers to achieve such a feat for 11 consecutive years. Computer technology emerged as a most frequent featured technology in publishing patent applications. Accounting for 11.1% of the world total, India is emerging as global hotspot for startups, fueled by combination of factors such as large and young population, a strong entrepreneurial culture, and government initiatives. As of December 2023, India had over 117,000 recognized startups. The number of startups has been steadily increasing, driven by factors like government support and favorable regulatory environment. Indian startups have attracted substantial funding from both domestic and international investors. If we take a look at these cities, particularly Bengaluru, known as the Silicon Valley of India, is a major hub for technology startups. Next comes the list Delhi NCR. The national capital region, including Delhi and its neighboring cities, is another important startup ecosystem. Mumbai, India's financial capital, is home to growing number of startups, particularly in the fintech and e-commerce sectors. So I have no doubt the future looks good. And as far as the workforce is concerned, if we can get all these other pieces in place, we can say to the rest of the world, we are coming. Thank you very much.
By this, we come to the end of this exciting project. We learned many things how to manage ourselves and different situations which we faced in completing our project.
First of all, we would like to thank our HOD of Humanities and Social Science Department, Dr. Sameer Bajpai sir,
and our mentor, Dr. Anup Kumar Tiwari sir, under whose guidance we have prepared this project.
We also thank the security guard, Mr. Roshan Sahu, all our friends, those who supported and helped us in completion of our project.
We got great experience and learned how to manage events and working with the people from various parts of our country.
We also improved our public speaking skills, which helped us to boost our confidence. We enjoy doing this together, thereby improving our technical skills.
Thank you.
Arjuna has packed out. This is Palakshi Agrawal signing off.
Let me explain you. Maybe there is a card there.
Vijay, come fast.
जल्दी आ विजय.
They too should have similar and can
Do more with less and has the potential. गड़बड़ हो गया.
A mind that is capable of thinking out of the box. We talk about thinking.